Hi everybody, I'm Trin Johnson and welcome to Dust in My Eye. Today I am painting a sunset. It's a photo I took in Canada of a windmill with the sun setting behind it and the field, and it's a really cool picture, and I thought I would try and paint that today. So if that sounds like fun to you, come on and join me. So I thought about masking my windmill, but I think I don't want to be that picky. So I'm just going to let it ride, and I'm going to try and do a similar kind of a sunset feel behind my windmill. I'm not worried about being perfect and having it be exactly like the photograph. That is never my aim. So I've got a little bit of transpiral orange, and I have a little bit of quin rust, which I'm not sure if I'm going to put that in there or not. For my pinks, I have a little bit of Rose Madder permanent, which is a little, it's got a little brighter than, a little bit brighter than a Quin Rose, maybe, and not as yeehaw as a opera pink would be. And I'm also going to mix some of that up with a little bit of my orange pyrrole orange, whatever it is, color, because I want a very pinky orange. I could use my Quin Coral too. I have that in here. But I think that's what I'm going to start with for my pinks and my orange. This one doesn't really have any yellow in it, so that's kind of different. And then I have Alvero's Fresco, I think it's Fresco, which is like a Payne's Gray, that I'm going to use for my bluey gray color. It's a little bit bluer than the Jane's Gray. At least that's what I find. And I want some of this blue, chromium blue, cerulean blue chromium, that's what it is. And I want to use that for my background blue, but I want to add just a titch of green to it and see if I can get it just a little cooler. I want it real light, really, really light. I might put a little bit of cobalt in there too for a truer blue. And then I'm going to try and work, not wet in wet, as in I'm not going to wet the whole top part of the page, but I do want to work with the whole top of the page being wet, if that makes sense. I'm not going to pre-wet it, but I do want it to be wet as I'm working, because I want a really wet, you know, where they blend together, where each of the colors blend into each other. I want it to be pretty wet. So I'm going to go down where the blue is. I used a colored pencil. It's a little bit olive, and it is kind of blending into my blue sky parts a little more than I'd like it to be. I probably should have taken a kneaded eraser to it before I started, but I did not. So I am working on arch block. It's the last page in the block though, so I have it taped to the backing board because it was coming off. So I really do want some of this very, very light. So I'm going to just dab. I don't want to wait too long between colors because I want to keep that wet coming down. Just do that so I can pick up that olive a little bit before I start with my pinks. I'm just going to get the rose madder in here and then add my mixture that's a little more orange. And I want to bring some of that up into the upper sky here and there. Just very vaguely. Go into my orange down here. This part's really intense. Added just a little bit of New Gamboge to my horizon line orange. So I did end up using yellow. And now I want to come in here with the pink. I think I'm going to go for a smaller brush. Not the pink, the purple. I'm going to come in with the Alvaro's Fresco. Payne's Gray kind of color. I don't want to do that while it's still wet. Soften that edge. dry brush. Oh, that was a little more than I wanted. Now it will dry lighter, so we have to keep telling ourselves that, because you just have in your head from cooking or other things that you do that, you know, less is more. You can always add more, but you can't take it away, that kind of thing. But with watercolor, it really definitely does lighten up as it dries. Just want a little less up there. Okay. I think that'll do for the sky. So hopefully it was not a really lengthy endeavor. Now there's a little highlight on the side of the windmill that I want to make sure I get in. My green I'm using for the tree line. I'm going to use this undersea green, and I think I want to use some of that in the field in the front too, only more of a dry brush version of it. So I am going to do that part next. Now, I have this perylene green too that I'm going to put in there, because everything is really dark except for the sun set, I should say. And just get a little darker. There's a little yellow ochre kind of in the area that's just underneath, or in front of, I should say, the windmill. So that's, I just add a little yellow ochre to my green mixture. I think I'm going to throw a little quin gold in there too. It's kind of reflecting the sun a little bit. And there is definitely a darker line at the bottom of it. So let's get a little sepia. throw that in with our dark mixture. Give you a little graphite gray to dull it down. Now I would like to take my yellow ochre green mixture and just add it to the front here, to the forefront of the picture. There's a fuzzle. All very dark. All right. Now back to our green. Put some Purulene green in with my undersea green and a little bit of that brown, a bit of that brownish gray mixture. It's pretty dark. I want it pretty neutral. Now I am just trying to get a tree line in. Not really worried about it matching the one in the picture. I just want it to read as trees. I am using a T-graph. I was going to say T-graph brush that I got in Chile. And they aren't expensive at all. They're just in Chile. But I really like this brush. It's got a pretty decent point on it. And I have found that I reach for it a lot. I paint here, I paint in my watercolor class, and I paint downstairs in my family room. And I try to have a selection of different sizes of brushes in each of those locations without having to pull them one way and the other all the time, because that gets old really fast, especially when I'm trying to get ready for class. So this was the number 12 size that ended up here, where I record most of my videos that are, at least that are painting, unless they're alcoholic. I do those in my studio. I have a little satellite studio here that I do these in. It just works better for my lighting. I can have my ring light on the other side of the desk here, and that is helpful. So that's why I paint in here. So that's pretty good. Okay. So I hope you're enjoying this video. If you would like to leave me a comment, that would be wonderful. I truly appreciate that. I like to know if you've enjoyed it. And if you haven't subscribed, that would be great. If you're interested in seeing more of my videos, I would really appreciate that too. And the like button helps a lot. So all those things are really good. And notifications if you want to know when future videos are coming. And I also have a link for buying me a cup of coffee, which really is another way of saying helping me create these videos. So if you want to help that way, there's a link in the description. But I really do hope you just, for whatever reason, enjoy watching, and you don't need to do any of those things to enjoy watching. Now I'm going to use some neutral tint, which is a very cool gray, and I'm going to add some graphite gray to it so that it is a little less cool, a little more neutral. I think it's kind of funny that neutral gray is not a middle gray, really, at least not in my palette, not the what brand I have. I'm not sure what brand that is now. So I'm going to try and paint this little windmill in here. Might need to go to a skinnier brush. See where I drew my marks. Thought about doing it with a ruler at first and scribing it in with some Frisket, but this one if you are not comfortable painting straight lines, which mine are definitely not perfectly straight, but if that you need it perfectly straight and you don't feel like you have a steady enough hand, by all means, Frisket it in with a ruling pen, and then you have something better to follow than what I am currently trying to follow here. I do want to make sure that I get that highlight. So I am going to paint this part, which isn't quite as black as the other part is. I'm going to leave that little side over there right now. It's a little trickier to do because there's a bubble right there. Try and hold it down with this hand so I can paint with the other one. can hear my cat snoring. She's sitting over in her little chair that she likes to sit in and snoring. Now, somewhere, there we are. I had one liner brush. Just want to get that point. And then this one, this last one is a little lighter. I'm going to let that dry a little bit because I want to darken that one. This one is a little thicker than what I have it. Letting that happen. I'm going to paint my highlight. It's just a little highlight. Wouldn't really mind if it had just a little orange glow to it. There we go. Now it definitely dried lighter, which was expected. I think I would like to get the main body a little darker. feel like I'm putting the paintbrush down and no paint is coming off. So let's try that again. There we go. Okay. Now I could add more grass and stuff like that, but I think I want to keep it pretty simple. So I am going to stop there. And let's get the tape off. And like I said, I hope you got something out of this. I hope it was kind of fun. You don't have to follow your sunset picture exactly. It helps when you do a sunset to have some kind of contrast in there. In this case, it's the windmill. Oftentimes when I'm painting sunsets of the lake, it's helpful to have trees that are kind of in silhouette in the foreground. That's the word I was looking for earlier. That help that. It gives it something to focus on. And there we go. So if you'd like to, please check out my Etsy shop where I have prints of my artwork and some original artwork along with my cute little monsters for sale. That would be wonderful. And as usual, thank you so much for watching. Bye.